Hi everyone and welcome back. Let's dive into ChatGPT and see how to start using it. First, how do you actually interact with ChatGPT? At the moment, the browser is the only option by going to chat.openai.com, which is what we'll do in just a minute. It's super easy to get started. At the time of this recording, OpenAI does not have an official app for ChatGPT that you can use on your phone or tablet. But if you go out to your app store, you'll see there's tons of third-party apps out there that have already sprung up, many of them that have a cost associated. I wouldn't recommend using these, even though most are probably legit apps that use the OpenAI APIs on the back end. To use the official ChatGPT, just go to your browser and get started there. Navigate to chat.openai.com and then go to Sign Up. This will require you to sign up using an email address, and then there's also a phone verification required, so you do need to enter a valid phone number. I won't go through the full wizard here since I already have an account, but there's really just a couple of steps that's quick and easy to set up. As far as pricing goes, the free version is available to everybody and gives you full functionality. So if you signed up for an account just now, you'll have full access for free. At the moment, you may experience some lags in performance during peak times, and sometimes it just says that it's not available at all because it's overloaded. I suspect that over time this will get better as they ramp up resources to handle the popularity of this. But just know that that can happen occasionally. When it's happened to me, I just give it a minute or two or refresh the page and everything works fine. And then as of the time of this recording, there's a plus version that's coming soon. Pricing will be $20 per month, and it'll give you better response times and performance during those peak times that we just talked about. You'll also get access to new features as they get rolled out. You can't actually sign up for this version yet, but you can put yourself on a wait list. If you go out to this blog here, and scroll down, you'll get a little bit more information about what's in this plan. And then you can click the link here to sign up on the wait list and be notified when this new plan is available in your country. Now let's go see some of the ChatGPT capabilities in action. We'll go through conversations and how it can remember things within a conversation. And then we'll also see how to provide corrections and feedback to help it get better. Let's start by using conversation and memory to create a game. We'll say, create a text game. The game uses characters and scenes from Lord of the Rings. My initial score is 0. The game asks me math questions with 4 options to choose from. When I get an answer correct, it adds 5 points to my score and then asks me a new question. So let's get this one started. As we do that, you'll see a new chat has appeared on the top left there. And once it generates the full answer, it'll automatically fill in a name. So it's giving us LOTR Math Quiz Game. You can always edit that, though, by clicking on the pencil icon if you want a different name, and you can also get rid of your previous chats using the trash can icon. We're good with that, though, so let's see what we have here. Welcome to the Lord of the Rings math quiz. Your starting score is 0, and then we get our math question. So what is 7 plus 4? Correct answer is going to be number 1, so we'll input that. Hit enter, and then it should give us the next question. Correct. Yay. Score is now 5. So it's remembering our score, and it also knows what the 1, 2, 3, and 4 represent at a particular point in this conversation. So our next question, what is 10 minus 6? That's going to be 4, which is answer number 1, and so on and so forth. So I think a really good illustration of how memory works within a chat or conversation. Let's see another example of how we can build on a conversation. For this one, we'll say, generate 10 ideas for blog titles about the importance of using source control in software development. Now, I've just stayed within the same chat or conversation here. You could start a new one for every new topic. But for this one, we should be able to reference something in this list that it just gave us and have it expand on that using the new instructions that we give it. So let's say we really like the title of the third item, Source Control, Protecting Your Code from Disaster. We can say, write an outline for the third idea, and it should recognize what idea we're talking about. And here it gives us a rough outline that we could take to structure our blog post. Everything from the introduction, getting into specific topics, and then a conclusion at the end. We can continue building on this by saying, write an introduction for the blog post in a friendly tone. And it should recognize the blog post that we're talking about was the third one in the list. And it's written a nice introduction for us in a friendly, conversational tone, something that we could use as inspiration to get started on our post. Next, let's see how we can provide corrections to refine the answers that we get, and also how to provide feedback so it can improve over time. Here we're going to generate some new data. So create a sample data set of product sales by state, use 10 products, include product name, price, sales date, and sales representative. And here's our sample data set. Now, we didn't specify the format of the data that we want here, so it's just giving us a table. Let's say we need this as a CSV, though, a comma-separated value file instead. So we'll say format the data as CSV, not a table. There we go. Now we have the right format. Let's say we want a little bit more variety and creativity in some of our data, though. So we'll say, please use more variety and creativity in the product names. Certainly. Here's a sample data set with more creative product names. There we go. And you can go back and forth like this to get more variety in the other data if you want it, for example. But let's say there's something that you're trying to correct. Let's say the state for the EcoWatt product is incorrect. It should be Arizona. Now, obviously, that was not incorrect because this is just sample data, but you'll see that it fixed it here. Now we've got Arizona for the EcoWatt product. If you do legitimately spot something incorrect in an answer, though, you can always correct it to get a more accurate or more complete answer. Sometimes ChatGPT will even apologize when you do this, which is a fairly human-like behavior and kind of funny when it happens. You can also give feedback using the thumbs up or thumbs down button here. So every time you get an answer, you can basically tell ChatGPT how it's doing. So if we really did get something wrong, we can just click this and then provide additional feedback on what the correct answer should have been. You can also flag things as harmful, unsafe, not true, or not helpful. So it's learning over time and improving, and this is part of how it does that. So we've seen some basic capabilities, but it's not perfect, so let's talk about some limitations and things to be aware of as you're using it. We'll talk about the recency of the data it was trained on, how it can give incorrect answers, and then how it handles biased or inappropriate questions and answers. Starting with the recency of data, it's only been trained on data through the end of 2021, so that could be an issue depending on what you're asking for. For example, if we say research trending keywords for travel to South Africa in the last 3 months, it will actually tell you that it doesn't have access to real-time data. Sometimes it will also tell you specifically that it doesn't have data past 2021, but that is what it's currently trained on. It can suggest more generic things, though, for something like this, travel and trends and popularity. But for things like recent news stories and that type of thing, it's not going to be super helpful. Over time, it will be trained on more current data, so it should get better and better, but just know that. Let me open up a new chat here. And over here on the right-hand side under limitations, you see it may occasionally generate incorrect information. As we've already said, ChatGPT is constantly learning, getting smarter, and providing more accurate answers. For example, when I first started using it, I asked it to generate some Excel formulas for me and some code snippets that I could use in Amazon Web Services. There were some mistakes in both of those, but when I reran them today, they actually seem to be correct. There are several examples online of where it gets word problems incorrect or complex math problems wrong. So it's only going to be as good as the data it was trained on. Keep that in mind. You are ultimately responsible for ensuring the accuracy and appropriateness of the answers. And then finally, as it says here, it can occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content. This is also an area that's constantly improving. So if I were to say, how can I rob a bank? You'll get a response basically saying that you shouldn't rob a bank, which is a good thing. So it'll try to keep things on track. And no illegal advice given. Excellent. And then back to a new chat again. There's also been a lot of work to remove bias that was identified in some of the early responses. For example, it would sometimes write code that assumed that income for males was greater than income for females, that kind of a thing. So it's getting better in that area as well. Okay, let's quickly recap the important points we've covered before we move on. Using ChatGPT is really quick and easy to do in your browser. Just go to chat.openai.com. At the moment, there's no official app from OpenAI, though you will find lots of third-party apps out there. The free version gives you full functionality, though you may experience some lag at times. A paid plus version is coming soon for $20 per month, and it should make that better. ChatGPT has memory within a conversation, so you can refine and correct the answers that you're getting until they're just right. As we've talked about, there are some limitations, though, so make sure you're verifying what it gives you, and ultimately, you're responsible for the accuracy and appropriateness of what you're using. All right, I think we can all agree that ChatGPT is pretty cool, but let's see how it can be applied in the real world and how you might be able to make your job easier by using it.